Hello, third grade readers. Hope you're doing great today. Welcome back to our reading workshop lesson. Today is lesson 3. And just to remind you from yesterday, our lesson, we took the time to learn how we can read and then summarize, also known as paraphrasing, what we just read. And that was helping us with our comprehension and really zooming in on what the important details were by restating what we read using our own words. Well, readers, today we are going to learn about how we can locate the main idea within the paragraph that we're reading. Sometimes that main idea will be in the first sentence or the last sentence, and we might realize that the main idea may not actually be even in the paragraph at all, which then we're going to have to use some of our other knowledge to figure out what is the main idea they're trying to share with us. So, our nonfiction reading lesson for 3 says, locate the main idea sentence within the paragraph. And then you can see the little note at the bottom. It says sometimes it's in the first sentence, last sentence, or maybe it won't be anywhere in that paragraph at all that we're reading. So I want to take us back to our classroom mentor text, which we've been reading from is Penguins. And I am going to share with you a section in here, which is actually the section about in the water. As you can see, there's a few paragraphs here on this section, and here are the pictures, or the picture I should say, on this page. And what I'm going to first do is I'm going to think back to our first lesson together, which was preview, predict, and tap into prior knowledge. So before I read this section, I want to do that. So I'm going to peruse. I see it's in the water. I look at the picture. I'm realizing, okay, I think this section is going to be about how penguins possibly swim or what they do in the water. I see that we have a few bold-faced words here. Porpoising, we have camouflage. So that tells me, okay, it's probably going to be talking about some of these main ideas. I then can use some and tap into my prior knowledge. What do I know about penguins with being in the water? Well, one thing I know is that they can swim quickly. I know that they like to sometimes leap and land on their bellies. So these are some of the facts that I know, tapping into that prior knowledge. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to read this section, and I'm going to read just that first paragraph, and then I'm going to pause and I'm going to ask myself, what is the main idea? And I'm going to look at that first sentence and second sentence and the last sentence and see where's the main idea located at. Okay, so here we go. In the water. Penguins cannot fly, but they do flap their flippers underwater, as other birds flap their wings in the air. As they swim, penguins steer with their feet and tail. Penguins can swim very quickly. All right, so now I'm going to take a minute, and I just finished that first paragraph, and now I need to ask myself, what is the main idea of this paragraph? Well, I look at that first sentence, and it's talking about how penguins, they can't fly, but they flap their flippers under the water, and that's what allows them to swim. And the last sentence was about penguins can swim very quickly. So I'm taking from this that the main idea was that penguins swim quickly, and they do it obviously underwater with the flippers. They go underwater. All right, now I'm going to read the next paragraph, paragraph 2. And we're going to think about what is the main idea of this paragraph. When penguins swim long distances, they shoot out the water, take in air, and dive under again. This leaping is called porpoising. All right, so the main idea of this section that I just read was talking about that new bold word porpoising, and that's about how they take in the air and then they leap. And when they leap, they're diving. And that's how they can go their longest distance. Okay, so you notice that we're focusing on what is the main idea, and then I'm kind of just recapping what I read. All right, let's try it again. This time I want you to listen in and think about what is the main idea that is being portrayed in this paragraph, okay? A penguin's black and white coloring is called countershading. Countershading helps camouflage penguins in the water. An enemy swimming beneath a penguin cannot see its white belly against the bright sky above. An enemy swimming above a penguin cannot see its black back against the dark water below. And in that section, we had 2 of our boldface words. So now I want you to take a minute and think about what was the main idea of that paragraph. I'm going to read it a second time because I know that you don't have, if we were in school together, I would give you a printout of this text so you could actually have a visual. So I'm going to read it one more time and I want you to think, what is the main idea? A penguin's black and white coloring is called countershading. Countershading helps camouflage penguins in the water. An enemy swimming beneath a penguin cannot see its white belly against the bright sky above. An enemy swimming above a penguin cannot see its black back against the dark water below. So I want you to think, what is the main idea? Give you a second to think about that. So I'm thinking that you're probably saying something about how the main idea was about the penguin being able to camouflage, right? We learned that the enemies below and the enemies above, because of the coating on the penguin, cannot be seen, right, by their enemies. So the main idea, I believe, is that first sentence. A penguin's black and white coloring is called countershading. And that's talking about the top and the bottom, the black and the white. All right, so here's what your job will be. I will be posting the student chart on this, right underneath this video link. You'll have your 3rd student chart, which you can see here. And this is what your job will be. If you want, while you're reading today, you can pull this up so you can have the step-by-step guideline of what you should do. And the top part just says that I can determine the main ideas by thinking about what is important in this way. And these are the steps I took. Reading it, looking at the paragraph, looking at the first and last sentence. If it doesn't have the main idea within that little paragraph that you're reading, think about the other paragraphs that you've been working on, and then you can find the main idea in that way. Okay? So, let me just double check my notes and make sure I hit on all the points I wanted to share with you today. Yep, it looks pretty good. So that's what you're going to be working on today, is reading from the same nonfiction book that you were yesterday and what we've started from the beginning, whether it was on Epic or one of your own nonfiction books at home. Find a new section, or it could be a section you've already read, maybe from yesterday. Find a section and try this skill. Read it, read each paragraph or read each section. Stop for a moment, find where the main idea is, state it to yourself, and then proceed on, okay? All right, readers, happy reading time. Make sure you try and fit in 20 to 30 minutes to read today. All right, stay tuned for tomorrow for your next reading workshop lesson. Have fun reading.